Of all the secrets that lie buried with the dead, none is more challenging, none more tantalizing than the secret which the woman named Tofana took with her to the grave. To no one in her own time did she reveal it, and no one since has been able to find the key to it. But perhaps that is as it should be, for it is a secret which, if it were ever again unlocked, could only spread misery and death throughout the world.
The woman, Tofana, was a resident of Palermo in the latter days of the 17th century. And it is no coincidence that it was those same days which witnessed a wave of poisoning that swept like a plague across the whole of Europe. The authorities were baffled.
There can be no question the Pope was poisoned. He did not die a natural death.
Nor did Ercole Sturazzi, nor Lorenzo Costia, nor Alfonso de Cordova.
I know. They were murdered, every one of them. We've examined their food, their wine, everything they took into their bodies for 24 hours before their death. We've never come upon a single trace of it anywhere.
Not once did they discover any remnants of the substance that had caused death. And then, on the 10th day of August of that year, a man named Francesco Orsini, a poet and a philosopher, came to them in a state of great agitation.
Gentlemen, you must save me.
What is this paper you have?
It was asleep under my door this morning.
Let me see. To Francesco Orsini, prepare yourself. At 4 o'clock on the afternoon of August 12th, you will die.
They are going to poison me.
Fortunately, they have forewarned us, so we can prevent.
How?
For the next 2 days, my dear Orsini, you will drink neither water nor wine, and you will eat no food whatsoever. And on the afternoon of the 12th, you will lock yourself in your study. One of my men will be with you to guard you. It will be absolutely
For 2 whole days, Francesco Orsini fasted. And at the appointed time, he was locked in his house under armed guard.
I was in the room with him when it happened. Before I could send for help, he was dead.
It was not until months later that the woman, Tofana, was brought into the torture chambers to be questioned. They had reason to believe that she knew more than she admitted, and they had ways of extracting knowledge.
Yes. Yes, I will confess.
You are, I believe, a brewer of poisons by profession?
When men want the poison, they come to me.
What do you call this concoction you brew for them?
It's called Acqua Tofana.
Why have we never been able to find traces of it?
Because you look for them too late. If you wanted to see the poison that killed the Pope in April, you would have to examine the wine in December.
In other words, the action of the poison is delayed 5 months?
5 months, or 5 weeks, or 5 hours, whatever is desired.
And how is it possible? What is the secret of this time potion?
You can kill me if you like. But the secret of my time potion dies with me.
Yes, this was the Acqua Tofana, the potion that had caused the death of no less than 600 men. A poison which could be so compounded as to cause death at any desired time after it had been administered. This was the secret which Tofana would not surrender even to those who tortured her. The secret which died with her. A secret incredible but true.
The amazing story of David Lang of Gallatin, Tennessee, was first publicized by none other than the famous American writer Ambrose Bierce. Since Bierce was a skeptic of the first order, those tales of the supernatural which he saw fit to vouch for need little else to give them authenticity. Of these, however, none is better documented and none more baffling than the curious case of the man who vanished.
The thing happened in a field. It was a flat, ordinary field stretching out beyond the David Lang farmhouse near Gallatin, Tennessee. On that late afternoon in September of 1880, Lang himself and his wife sat on the back porch.
There's a buggy coming yonder, Dave.
Reckon it's that there fella from Gallatin, name's Corey. He said he might come out and talk business this afternoon. I'd better get a move on.
Where you going, Dave?
Fetching the horses. I'll be back in a minute.
David Lang started across the field at a dog trot, and he had almost reached the middle of it when his wife suddenly leaped to her feet and...
Dave! Dave, where are you? Where'd you go?
Mrs. Lang raced across the field to the point where she had last seen her husband. And as she ran, she saw that the horse and buggy on the road had stopped, and that another figure was rapidly approaching her. They met in midfield and looked at each other in blank bewilderment.
He disappeared.
But he couldn't have. He must have fell down a hole of some kind.
But there ain't any hole.
3 nights after Lang's disappearance, his widow wandered alone and inconsolable near the spot where she had suffered her great loss. Suddenly, she heard the voice of a man in distress.
Help! Help me, somebody! Help!
Dave, where are you?
Help me,
I can
somebody!
hear your voice, but I can't see you. Tell me where to find you, Dave.
There were other members of the family, there were neighbors, who testified that it was unquestionably the voice of David Lang. For 2 weeks, it continued to call out periodically, growing fainter each time. And then, at last, it was silent. The winter passed, and spring came, and Mr. Corey, the gentleman from Gallatin, had come out once again to discuss with Mrs. Lang the business which had been so tragically interrupted the previous September. As they talked, they strolled slowly across the field. And then, at the same instant, both of them stopped short and stared open-mouthed at the ground beneath them.
It's the same spot. The place where we last saw David.
And look at it now. Must be 15 feet across. A circle of dead grass.
Dr. Hearn, the Viennese scientist, suggested that he had stepped into a void spot in the universal ether and had been annihilated. And a prominent physicist hazarded the opinion that some sort of magnetic field had speeded up the atomic vibrations of his body, thus projecting him into a new vibratory dimension. But these are mere guesses. The guesses which science must resort to when faced by facts that defy analysis. Facts incredible, but true.